Good morning, everybody. John Swift here. Welcome to the John Swift Live channel. Today I wanted to show you this pretty interesting house. Historical. Let's take a little preview here of this historical 1882 house, built in 1882. And there's actually a church right here, too. But first I wanted to show you, before we actually get into the nitty-gritty of this, I wanted to show you this sign out here. This is a historic house, probably because it's one of the oldest ones in Sarasota. Sarasota really wasn't, I don't think, incorporated till the 1900s. You know, like with a city commission and a mayor and all that stuff. There was people, I believe. Don't shoot me if I'm wrong, but there were people in Sarasota in the 1800s, maybe even earlier, possibly. There were definitely Indians or Native Americans here. So this house is one of the earliest homes. So the interesting thing about this particular house is the man who, I don't know if he built the house or if he just, there's a sign right here, one of these historical signs. Okay, so it says Alfred Bidwell was one of a group of implicated in the murder of his neighbor, Charles E. Abe. I think it's Abe. It's A-B-B-E. See right there? Abe, maybe? Ab. He was the Sarasota's first postmaster. Abe was shot in December 27th, 1884 in front of Bidwell's store. So I'm assuming the store, I thought I read somewhere that the store was on Main Street. The investigation revealed the secret society Sarasota Vigilance Committee, led by Bidwell. He was convicted, sentenced to death, commuted to life, later released. I guess you could look up Alfred Bidwell and maybe it would say a little bit more about his, if you're interested in the conviction part of it, you could go there and find out more about the interesting, somewhat weird murder thing. So this house was purchased in 1895 by Anne and Luke Wood as the Winter. So they call it the Bidwell Wood House. You could probably find it online somewhere. The Historical Society of Sarasota, I think, possibly will have some pages on that. So it says the Woods occupied it till 1966, which is pretty recent, you know, considering. Moved in 77 from US 41 and 301. I don't even know where that is. 41. It was moved from 41 and Wood Street by Historical Society of Sarasota County. I wonder if that's near where the there's a Publix there now, Wood Street, I think. I'm trying to think exactly where that would be. There's a McDonald's there, and there is a Publix there, and formerly where the Publix was, there was the Herald Tribune. So maybe it was right there on 41, and if you want to look that up, in Sarasota, 41 Wood Street, where they intersect there. All right, so pretty weird that the guy was convicted of murder that lived in this house. My little connection to this house is that I don't think it was moved here in 77, because in 77 I was at Alta Vista Elementary School, about 10 years old, and this house sat right next to Alta Vista Elementary. So Alta Vista Elementary there would be a street here, and then on the other side, not here, I mean, but where Alta Vista School is now, I guess looking from the east side, Alta Vista would have been to the left. This would have been just in the field. There was like a field across the street. So when we get out of school, we'd actually walk by this house, because sometimes I would walk home from school or ride my bike from school. But it was always like looking this way. And the funny thing is I guess when you're a kid, 10 years old, you really don't think much of historical stuff unless somebody like takes you on a tour of it. But at that time, I don't even think it was open for people to check out. It was just being preserved, I think. But now it's like, I guess the Sarasota County Historical Society sort of runs it now. Unfortunately, it's not open right now. Well, we can take a little gander yonder. The roof still has the wood shingles on it. I'm sure they've been replaced in 130 years. They've been replaced once or twice, and it's probably been repainted. But And the porch, I'm sure, has been redone. You know, this isn't the. This is an old porch. You can still see the nails in it. Usually today they would use deck screws, probably, but you know, it hasn't been sitting here without any remodeling. But you can tell this porch roof is pretty new because of the brackets, kind of things like that. But wow, did that light just pop on and off? Yeah, look at that. This light is going from dim to on. Well, anyway, I was going to say, it says on here it's open 10 to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. So today's Wednesday, the 10th, February 10th. It says, please come in and tour the Bidwell House. Well, it's got like a little locky thing on here, and it's actually got, I don't know if this is original, but this is the old-timey doorbell that you could press before they had like the electric doorbell. It was a little mechanical thingy. Oh, I hope I didn't, oh no, I broke it. Oh man, I broke the bell. I'm sorry, people. I'll fix it. Something happened there. Maybe you're not supposed to touch that. Whoops. I'm sorry. Doggone it. I rang it a couple times before. Look at the windows compared to the doors. The windows are taller than the doors. That's pretty weird, isn't it? You see that there? I can almost not even get back far enough. See how high the door is here? The door is a normal like 6 foot, 6.5 foot door, and then look at the window. That's pretty weird, huh? It's got this little. What is that thing? It's almost like. I wonder if you go in the inside and you can pull open that thing, whatever that thing is. This panel or something. It almost looks like a door. It's so tall. I don't know if I've ever seen that. There's actually a house. This church next door is kind of pretty old church. This whole thing, I think, was all moved. I'm not sure about this church, but the whole thing was probably moved. This church looks pretty kind of original, very basic, early plain church, just wide open, just a big chapel. It's got like a little stage, and they must have meetings here because there's water there and there's a whole bunch of chairs set up. I don't know if it's still a church or if it's just a historical church. Let's peek in there. You kind of see a little bit of the stage there. But anyway, they built this whole walk, because you can see, if you look over here, it's all up about 3 feet or so. The house is up about 3 feet, and the rest of this walkway. But they have public bathrooms. So anyway, the cool thing about this is you don't have to pay. I don't believe you have to pay to come in. This is free. So that's pretty cool. These windows on the sides are all really tall too. This window looks like it's about 8 feet tall. That's pretty interesting, right? The siding must have been redone, but it's real rough if you look at it. It's got the old-timey clapboard, real rough wood, rough hewn. Is that what it is? Sawn wood. These windows, it looks like if you pulled up this window, you could just walk right through the door. That's really unusual. There's something in the sign also about this little offshoot. See, like I'm trying to say is this is not original, okay? This deck, how it all kind of seamlessly goes into one thing. I'm sure originally it was probably, this little house was probably separate, like, and they would walk out the back. Maybe they had a porch and they would walk down and go to this, but I don't think this is the configuration exactly. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But they're saying in the sign that this little shed-like house was where they stay while they were building this house. And it had like I think they said maybe this was like a detached kitchen or something. You can kind of see in there a little bit. It's kind of just like a little storage area now with a little loft up there. See the little loft? I don't know if you can see that. Thing is, like today, you can just come around and just see it. And apparently, I've never actually been in it. Oh, you know what? That's the thing I wanted to tell you. Let's check out the back real quick here. Pretty interesting. You don't see homes like this with the central hallway, and then there's actually a flat screen TV over there. I don't know if you can see through the door. Over into that room on the left, there's like a flat screen TV, and they've got some like furniture that's probably older. And but you come in the main hallway, and it's probably got like a kitchen on one side and then a dining room on the other, or not a kitchen, but a living room on one side, or what do they call that? A parlor on one side. Maybe that's the parlor where you would entertain guests. Back in those days, there's no TV. I don't even think there was radio back in the 1880s. Maybe radio came in the turn of the century. Hopefully you can see some of that, right? So I think this is on 12th Street actually in Sarasota. When I was driving here, I if you notice that I'm kind of bundled up, it's really cold today, by the way. I meant to give you the streets of this, but if you search Bidwell House, Sarasota, Florida, you could probably figure it out. It's on 12th Street and something. I don't know what that street is. But anyway, there's a big park here also. It's a very nice park. This is not the kind of thing that you're going to spend like 5 hours on, but it's still very cool. I don't think they charge you anything to get in, so it's free. Very nifty and neat. You can go over and check out the church over here. It's unusually cold today. Like for Sarasota in the daytime, for it to be like below 60, like in the 50s, that's pretty cold. Yesterday it was very windy and cold. Maybe I'll walk around and get a shot of the front of this church. Look at the old doorknob here. These little dinky, it looks like a little baby doorknob. Little dinky doorknob. Yeah, it's pretty locked. But I'm always interested in those keys. I always think it would be neat to have sort of an antique doorknob where you have the old skeleton-y key and you put it in the lock. I don't know. Just keys today are boring, for my money. These keys are boring compared to can you see this key? Oh, I move my hand out of the way. Where's there it is. Can't even get a shot. I'm just gonna say, these kind of keys are very boring compared to the ones they had in the old days. The big keys, I've got some keys that are like about 5-6 inches long. I found one on the railroad tracks one day. It's just those giant, like the kind you'd see in an old jail cell. Big keys with a medium. They're very interesting looking. It'd be harder to lose a key if it was this long, right? Instead of the little dinky ones. All right, so I wanted to get a shot at the front of this place. Like I said, okay, so I did want to talk a little bit about getting up and getting out. That was something I was thinking about on the way here. If you don't get up off the couch and get out, you can't see this. And I had a lot of trouble getting out of bed today. Not necessarily just out of bed, but just getting up and moving. All right, so this is what it looks like when you come by. This is the Bidwell House, the 2-story, and then this is the church with the classic steeple type of thing. US 41 down here. You see the sign out says, okay, so that says Crocker Memorial Church, so that's what that is Crocker Memorial Church. It's 1260, still have the address, 1260 12th Street. Apparently it's run by the Historical Society of Sarasota County. And if it actually come down here, see, I never had any idea this was here. I've seen that house before, but I didn't really know much about this until I got up and got out off the couch. And we were walking out here one day or something, or I was riding by. And I also saw this cemetery out here. What are we doing on time here? How is the time, sir? 13 minutes? Okay, well, maybe we'll cut this out off about 20 minutes. This, apparently this part of Sarasota, since it's so close to the water, was where a lot of the early homes, people settled. I'm sure it was probably something to do with, my guess is it's probably something to do with people were taking boats to get here, or if you wanted to go like fishing, or you needed to go to an island there was really no bridge. Geez, I'm racking my brain to think about when the Ringling Bridge was put in. Might have been the early teens, 19s or 20s, not sure. Too early to try to remember that stuff. But anyway, you've got this cool. Actually, there's a sign over here too. Cool, but somewhat creepy. It's got all the cool moss and all the lichen and all that green funky stuff. It's got some really old graves here. It's also got this big mausoleum in the middle. That gravestone there says Sawyer. And what name do you think of when you hear Sawyer? Do you think of Tom Sawyer? And also, there's a sign over here. It's like the Daughters of the American Revolution, which I'm not really too clear on what that is. But this building behind it is actually the Daughters of the American Revolution. But you could tell, you don't see, around this area, you don't see very many cemeteries with this kind of stone fence, this kind of neat looking. Pretty cool stuff. It's kind of, this isn't a very populated area too, but if you don't come down 12th Street right here for any reason, you wouldn't really notice it, but it's got the historical sign out here. Most of these signs are green, but this one's actually like a brownish gold. This is the tomb of Mary Wyatt Whitaker. So I think that that big, large, like mini building out there in the middle is the tomb. She's the daughter of William Wyatt, member of convention, which gave to the state of Florida its first constitution. Mother of the first white child born in what is now Sarasota County, 1852. So does that mean that there was a black child born here, or a Chinese child, or? That's weird. 1852 was the first white child born in Sarasota County. So maybe that was like where they were starting a family, people here. It was probably very unpopulated, a lot of dirt roads. I'd heard that there was like a lot of cattle ranches and things like that. People came here, and I wonder if they squatted. So anyway, 300 yards west stood her home, which was burned in 1856 by the Indians, from whom she fled for safety with a child to a Palmetto log fort on Manatee River. That's pretty interesting. So there was a home here. It was burned to the ground. And then she went to Palmetto. It doesn't say, I can't see on the other side of that thing because the tree's in the way. It's kind of hard to read that, but it sort of sounded like she eventually came back to be buried here. I think in the old days they had like family cemeteries or they had like a church. I wonder if this church was here back in those days. And because usually they have cemeteries next to churches, right? Because the churches sort of maintain the cemeteries and stuff. But it makes me wonder. I haven't done a lot of research on this. It's got a little gate here. The sign doesn't say anything about coming in or coming out, but you can actually open the gate. Wow, look at that. It's got the classic old metal gate. I wonder if this gate is a super old gate. But there are some more Whitakers here. This says Carl Whitaker, 1889 to 1961. Yeah, there's no signs in it that say anything about coming in or. That says Dwight Abe Whitaker. Was that the same Abe that got shot? These I don't know exactly what you call these things. These graves that have the domed type of thing. I wonder if it's a shallow grave with that. If anybody knows, let me know in the comment. Is it a shallow grave or is it a full grave with this marker? Because I'm wondering why it has that domed top there. I like these little brick ones. These are kind of interesting. I guess if you didn't have a lot of money for something big, this is a Stuart Whitaker. Must have been a child, 1891 to 1896. So yeah, I guess it is. It's actually a small grave. If you look at it, it's actually smaller than the other graves. So this one says Mary J. Whitaker, 1831 to 1808. William Whitaker. So maybe that was the husband and the wife. These are pretty interesting. Like I said, Sarasota isn't 300 years old. It's only maybe 150, 175 years old as far as people settling here because it's so far south. I guess it was. There's probably a lot of issues with like mosquitoes and the marshes and accessibility and dirt roads, and they didn't really put a railroad in for a long time. It wasn't like up north where there was a lot of railroads, as far as I know. A lot of Whitakers here. There's another Sawyer. Some more Whitakers over here. It's funny how this marble stays so clean. See, these are from 88. The person died in 88, 82. You can see it's like super. These graves are like very clean. I wonder if somebody comes out and cleans them, takes care of them. They're in very good shape. They almost look new. These are 94. Clifford Grant and Cora Ione. I don't know. Still a very neat area. It's not like one of these things that's tucked away way out, you know, way out east where it's wooded and stuff. Although there are graves out there. Still pretty neat. With all the history, the early Sarasota. I think Whitaker Bay is named after these Whitakers. A lot of these early settlers. This bar is really heavy. This is like the old school. The old school. Put the big bar against the thing. So yeah, like I said earlier, really struggling to get out of bed today, but I'm really happy that I do. Like, it's always a mental fight, or somewhat physical mental fight, to say I gotta get out today. I try to get out at least 3 times during the week. I'm volunteering on other days of the week, so I'm out like working and stuff, but in the mornings I'm very fortunate to have off, so I can get out and see cool things, which has pretty much been a dream of mine for a long time. There goes UPS. To sort of have the lifestyle where I could have mornings off and work in the afternoons, and then, you know, work a couple mornings. I'm very thankful for that. If I can come out and you guys can come out with me and share some interesting places. The last vlog I did before this was out at John Ringling's estate. That was pretty cool one. Check that one out. We were looking at the Dwarf Garden where there's all these statues and it's kind of hidden in a little spot in John Ringling. Pretty interesting if you like that kind of stuff. I enjoy that stuff that's off the beaten path. Like I said, this apparently is very free to come in and check out. So if you're on a budget like I am and you want to see some cool history, an old house that's how old is it? About 130 some odd years, almost 140 years old. Like, if you went to Philadelphia, you can go see these buildings that have been there since the 1700s. Like I said, you know, Philadelphia and New York and Delaware, Virginia, all those eastern cities and states have been there for years, hundreds of years, because people settled there first. But down south, we're actually kind of new to the Americas a little bit. You know, we're only a couple hundred years old sometimes down here. Took a while for people to sort of want to get down in the Mosquito area of Florida. Turns out it's like one of the most amazing places in America with the greatest beaches and all this stuff, and we're just fortunate to have some of these old houses still around that they've actually taken care of. Pretty thankful today. I'm also freezing, but I'm also going to go jogging, but I'm freezing, anticipating jogging. Hey guys, if you want to help me out in these video adventures, I have I sell t-shirts and mugs and hoodies and stuff at johnswift@spreadshirt.com. If you want to get a hold of me on social media, it's Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I got accounts. Everything is on my what do you call that? The YouTube, Facebook page. You want to get a hold of me? I'm just glad to have you guys along, because it was fun, because it was cold, but I feel like warmer since you guys are here. I'm wishing you a good week, a good rest of the Wednesday hump week. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm kind of in a tired mood today, or maybe just an unexcited mood. I don't know which it is. It's just I'm just chilling, I guess. It is just really stone cold chilling today, as well as chilling because it's super cold. Like for Florida weather, man, it's like it should be snowing if it's 55 degrees. That's the way we feel, because it's always so hot here. Anyway, we have to say goodbye. Have a great week, guys. I hope everything is going well for you guys. Let me know if you have any questions, comments down below, and please subscribe and all that stuff. We'll see you guys later. Have a great one. Bye-bye.